Good morning, everyone. Our chosen company is IKEA, and here is our outline. We'll first talk about the introduction, vision, and strategy. Then we'll present you with the analysis of income statement and cost volume profit. After that, we'll provide other decisions of IKEA and the ethical issues. Lastly, we'll offer you with the suggestions and recommendations. According to the official website, IKEA is a transnational corporation furnishing retailer, well known for its Scandinavian style and its ready-to-assemble furniture, home accessories, and kitchen appliances. It is founded in 1943 in Sweden by Ingvar Kamprad, who was only 17 years old at that moment. It has been growing in a rapid way and has become one of the largest furniture retailers in the world since 2008. Kamprad believes he has to protect the uniqueness of IKEA concept by keeping the company independence and the structure of long-term ownership. Therefore, he has no plan to roll IKEA into the stock market. In addition, Kamprad established the franchise system to make sure all IKEA brand had enough resources to expand. Today, all 433 IKEA stores in 53 countries are operating under this system. IKEA's vision is to create a better life every day for people by putting their hearts in business, from designing, packing, to distributing. IKEA concepts mentioned above begins with the plan of offering affordable furnishing products to the world. The idea is put into practices by providing a wide range of well-designed, good quality, highly sustainable products with low price. IKEA have implemented field plans to cut costs in order to provide low-priced products to customers while gets to know what customers really want to offer high-quality products. Firstly, IKEA builds a number of factories in China with cheap labors and cut its production costs even lower by the help of mass production and trimming supply chain costs. Moreover, IKEA investigated cultures of customers from different countries and realized Chinese don't fancy with the do-it-yourself concept, so IKEA implemented market segmentation to various locations based on their cultures in order to provide suitable products for local. In addition, IKEA has used a discount pricing strategy to attract a larger customer volume. It then gets better deals with suppliers and offering products with even lower prices, which further attract more customers. It is a kind of virtuous cycle. And now, I will pass it to my group mates to talk about the analysis.
Okay, let's move on to income statement analysis of IKEA. The income statements of IKEA shows that the financial performance was stable in financial year 2019. As you can see, this income statement is in contribution format. So the total revenue of the income statements of IKEA includes the sales of goods, the franchise fee, and the other income. The sales of goods increased by $335 million from 23,651 million euro to 23,986 million euro. The franchise fee was reduced by 5 million euros from 1,200 million euros to 1,195 million euros. Other income primarily concern the earning from the selling of advertising materials and the catalogs to retailer in IKEA, which has increased by $5 million. The total revenue of IKEA in financial year 2019 are 25,254 million euro, which is slightly more than that in financial year 2018. So let's talk about the variable expenses of IKEA. Those variable expenses include the sales commission, the materials and supplies cost, the transportation expenses, and the other operation expenses. So the sales commission has the greatest increase among all the variable expenses, with the increased by 14.58%. The materials and supplies cost in financial year 2019 are 4,580 million euro, which increased by around 11%. And the transportation expenses are increased by 6.83% from 293 million euro to 313 million euro. However, the other operation expenses has the greatest decline. It decreased by 10.27%. As a result, the total variable expenses was reduced. Okay, the formula of contribution margin ratio is the total contribution margin over the total sales. The contribution margin ratio in 2019 is slightly higher than that in 2018. That means in financial year 2019, IKEA has more contribution margin to cover the fixed expenses than that in 2018. The product of IKEA is more profitable than 2018. Okay, let's move on to the fixed expenses. The fixed expenses of IKEA includes the labor expenses include benefit, staff salaries, medical welfare, and training costs, etc. The labor expenses decreased by 1.61%. It's around 31 million euro. The other operating expenses decreased by 6.52%. It's around 450 million euro. And the other operating expenses, including the equipment tax and the advertising costs. The total fixed expense has reduced by 5.45%. It's around $481 million. Finally, the net operating income before the tax has increased by 40.9% from 6,070 million euro to 6,977 million euro. IKEA had a great increase in the profit in the financial year 2019.
Hello, I'm Chikayin Alfred. Let's move on to the cost volume profit analysis. From the diagram shown in the page 14, we know that the contribution margin in 2019 is around 15,236 million. The contribution margin in 2018 is around 14,900 million. As a result, it showed that the contribution margin in 2019 is more than in 2018. We can talk about the contribution approach. The total fixed expense in 2018 is around 8,800 million, and the total fixed expense in 2019 is around 8,300 million. That means if IKEA sold the amount that's equal to the total cost, it will perform at the break-even point. The contribution margin ratio. The formula of this ratio is that the total contribution margin over the total sales. The contribution margin ratio in 2019 is around 0.63. and the contribution margin ratio in 2018 is around 0.62. Therefore, the data show us IKEA has far more contribution margin in 2019 to support the fixed cost than in the 2018. The contribution margin method. From this method, we can find that the break-even point in total sales dollar. The formula of this method is that the fixed expense over the contribution margin ratio. In 2019, we found that the break-even point in total sales dollar is around 13,000 break-even sales. And in 2018, we found that the value is around 14,000 break-even sales. Okay, we can talk about the margin of safety. Margin of safety lies in the excess of actual sales over the break-even sales of volume. The income statement of IKEA has demonstrated that the margin of safety in 2019 is around 10,000 million, which we can express as 45% of sales. The margin of safety in 2018 is around 9,000 million, which we can express as 40% of sales. The cost structure is one of the main indicators of CVP review. It applies to the relative proportion of IKEA fixed and variable costs. We can see that the total variable expenditure is more than the total fixed expenditure. There is one advantage and one disadvantage of this cost structure. For the advantage, there is higher profit in bad year, and there is a lower chance of decline. For the disadvantage, there is a no profit in good year. In addition, we will calculate the operating leverage to see how sensitive the net operating profit to sales percentage change. And in 2019, the value is around 2.197, and in 2018, the value is around 2.455.
Hello, I'm Yuanyun Charlie, who is responsible for presenting decision in IKEA's and IKEA's ethical issues. The operation profit of IKEA has decreased because they were developing new business strategy. According to the IKEA Group financial report, in 2018, operation profit was 2.25 billion, less than 3.03 billion in 2017 fiscal years, which is obvious that there's around 26% decline. This operation profit decline is because IKEA has highly invested into their e-commerce service to further develop their market shares. Besides, IKEA has relocated the store location to place which is near the railway map, and customer could much easier to access their stores. So, with this investment, there was a 5% increase in the full year retail sales and around 15% boost in the online sales. However, those cost of investment has not yet returned, but the CEO of IKEA has estimated the investment cost will be returned in the following next 3 years. So I think that it is a good long-term investment for the IKEA, and it is a really good approach. Besides investing in the e-commerce development, IKEA has continuously invested in clean energy to power its operation plants. IKEA's report has shown that they had already invested 2.5 billion in solar and wind energy system over the last decades. Also, they have expected to achieve climate positive by 2013. It is obvious that IKEA is not only promoting the importance of climate issues, but also has taken action to implant renewable energy facility throughout their whole supply chain or manufacturing process. Therefore, the total manufacturing cost of IKEA has increased, but I think it is a good investment too because they can gain enormous support by their customers and the sale revenue would be boost, which I think it is an effective promotion and could increase their reputation. On the other hand, the IKEA online shopper seems not giving a good experience for their customers. According to a survey conducted by Smart Survey in 2017, it indicates that there was around 1/3 of the customer complaints about the online shopping experience as they have faced the wrong and late delivery in the past. And this, I think, it is an important point because under this situation, the turnover rate of the customers of IKEA customers would be high and eventually the online sales revenue would decline too. So I think this will greatly affect IKEA profits, and it is important for IKEA to do something to giving a more satisfied consuming experience for their customers. So let's talk about IKEA ethical issues. In terms of the environmental sustainability, IKEA is doing a great job to promoting the message of protecting the environment. However, the climate change goal still not yet achieved by IKEA. According to the IKEA carbon footprint report in 2018, the carbon footprint was 23.3 million tons in 2016. However, the CO2 emitted in 2018 was 24.6 million. It shows that IKEA need to be more aware of this kind of issues and collaborate with different kind of suppliers to see how they could improve the environmental performance. Besides, IKEA has been banned by the Forest Stewardship Council for cutting down, as IKEA has cut down a tree which is nearly 600 years old in Russia. So you can see that IKEA is promoting the message of protecting the environment, respect the environment. However, they are doing the things not the same as the company motto. So I think that IKEA should be more aware and tackle these issues, the environmental issues, as soon as possible. In terms of the labor issues, it is shocked that IKEA has given contract to the East German government in 1990s. So they used some political person in the German to help them manufacturing some furniture, some chairs, etc., which most of the political person and criminals were involved in the manufacturing for IKEA suppliers. So I think this is really a bad and wrong thing because it is honestly inhumane and unfair to those workers. And indeed, IKEA realized that it is a bad approach for using political prison, and they had already apologized and promised there will be no more political prison being used ever. Besides, the IKEA driver is being underpaid in the Eastern Europe. The average income for IKEA drivers is £470. However, a full-time driver could get around £2,200 monthly. As you can see, the average income for IKEA driver is really unfair, and they were over-exploiting their employees. So I think IKEA should be aware of the inhumane employment issues as soon as possible before those news affected the company reputation. In terms of the customer privacy issues, IKEA has disclosed their customer information in an unprotected database file. I think this this shows that IKEA has a poor privacy data management, and this will be a vulnerable element to IKEA's and will hurt IKEA reputation and the loyalty of customers and the turnover rate of the customers, as customers are not willing to share any personal information for IKEA anymore, so it is much difficult for IKEA to collect their customer data space for further market evaluation. And I think that IKEA could do much more in helping in tackling these issues. So I will now pass the time to Scarlett to talk about the suggestion and recommendation for IKEA. Thank you.
So for the suggestion part and the recommendation part, there are 3 points I'm going to talk about. The first one would be labor. Labor, including human rights and ethical problems due to the workers, should be improved. Due to the ethical problems stated above, workers do not get paid wages if they work overtime, and also wages are not acceptable, which consists of underpayment. IKEA should follow the human rights policy set by the United Nations, which clearly stated every rule that a company should follow. And also, IKEA should spread the policies out internally to let their workers know. And if anyone's caught violating these rules, IKEA should immediately react to the case and give that person penalty. By doing so, workers' human rights would be protected. Also, the government should review the existing laws and regulations about human rights for employees of different firms and industries. They should ensure that firms are following the rules and regulations by sending relating departments to check from time to time. If any firms or company got caught, the government should be the role model to punish the relating people or firms. Workers should be aware of their own human rights by understanding the law and regulations set by the government, and if any case is found, they should report to the government immediately. This would lower the chance of having similar cases again. So for the second part, which is the privacy issue. As mentioned above, IKEA has privacy issues due to the leakage of customers' information. And this is a very serious problem, since brand image will be damaged. Although IKEA explained that it is a technical error in the database system, they should apologize to the customer in order to gain back their trust from the customer. This is one of the ways that IKEA can immediately do to reduce the damage cost. And the other way is to provide some discounts or some giveaways to the customer who has been affected due to the leakage. But most important, IKEA should do is to prevent having this problem again. They should employ more technical workers to work on their database system and to ensure no leakage will be caused ever again. Then IKEA could gain their customers' trust by promising that there won't be any error again. So the last issue I want to talk about is the delivery issue. The delivery problem in IKEA is quite serious, including wrong product delivery and also time cost is unacceptable. The first solution is to reduce the time cost for shipping, which can achieve by simplifying the supply chain and also allow the customers to keep track on their own purchase. Notifying the customer when it has been sent out from the factory, and also notifying them when it arrived their city. If there's any emergency changes, IKEA should immediately notify the customer that it may take a little bit more time. IKEA can be more organized, for example, checking if any process can be tightened up that could speed up the delivery. Also, be more careful with the product delivery to ensure that there won't be wrong delivery. Send more workers to double check every delivery which is about to send out, and if there's any mistake caused, IKEA should immediately send out the right delivery and apologize. Thank you.